Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about SAS step views, and I will compare with the PROC SQL views and also with the regular SAS data tables. So the reason I'm making this video because when you will appear in SAS advanced certification exams, you will find there are multiple questions that is covering from the data step views. So what is data step views? Data step views are basically generated by data steps, and they can um, manipulate and manage input data from a variety of sources. So there are few advantages of using the data step views or using the PROC SQL views over the regular SAS tables. So few of them I'm listing here. So data step views does not contain the physical data. So it doesn't contain the physical data. It contains the definition of data that it is stored elsewhere in any library or any other place. And other point is that data step views input data can come from one or more sources, including external files or from other SAS datasets files. And SAS data step views only read open for input other files. You cannot update the views underlying data. So these are few important points that you have to remember when you are working on data step views. So how you can generate a data step view? So for example, this is a data set I'm generating. So this is a table that I'm going to generate here using data step procedure. So I'm using set statements to retrieve the data set of name class, and I'm creating a new data set. That name is also class that, but that will go to the work library. So when you run this program, this is the initial program that you learn. So when you will look for the library, I can show you here, like in the work library, a table is generated here. When you will open the property, you will say the type of this file is table. So this is how you generate a regular table using the data step procedure. But for generating a view, you have to use slash view equal to option. So for example, I'm using the same table, that is class table, from here and generating a view. The name of the view is BMI, for example, and I'm calculating that BMI here itself. So when you will run this program, a new table will be generated, but that table is not the regular table. This will be a view. So for example, here you will see a new a set of data is generated here in the work library. But when you go to the library, you will see that this is the structure and look is different than this one. So when you open this one and go to the property, you will see the type is table view, whereas in the other one you will see that one is only the table. So this is the difference, that this is not the actual data. This is not going to be a physical data, but this one basically else somewhere, and this one is retrieving that information, and you can work on view as well, and you can do other procedure when you are interested in doing that using this view. So for example, I'm going to calculate the mean of this view here, and you will see that the mean is calculated is 17.86. So this one you have to remember, because I will use this information in my next example. So for example, if you update original data, so for example, I'm going to update the original data. Original data is class. So for example, I'm updating here, I'm taking only the age greater than 14 here, so using this where statement. So when update, you will update this data set. So but you are not updating the your view here. But when you will do the same calculation what you did here, BMI, so it's always retrieve the original data, which is class. So if you will run this program, I am not running this view statement again, but itself it will retrieve the original data, and here your BMI will be the different, which will be the 18.36. Earlier, as I said, it was 17.86. So you have to remember that when you are using you know view, it always access the most current data. So this question's always asked, in your SAS certification exam, that what is the advantage of using SAS view. So you really don't need to update your view statement here all the time. When your data will be updated and you will run any procedure, it will always access the most current data. So this is very useful when you are working on live data, and regular updates are happening in any live data. For example, records of any patients, or adding new students, or in any other places. So there are three main advantages of this data view. As I said, it will reduce the storage space. It will take less space when you are working on the view, and not cluttering up a data set with extra variables. So it will not, adding any variables, that you are generating here. For example, here I generated BMI. So you are not adding any extra space on the new data in your original data sets. And if the view uses the data that is updated regularly, then the view always read the current data. So this one is the most important point that you have to remember about the SAS data view. So view can also be generated through the PROC SQL. So that earlier example I showed is from the data step view, but you can also generate a view from the PROC SQL. So for example, here I'm using PROC SQL procedure to generate a view. So here I'm giving the name class 2 of that view. I'm using the same table which is class here, and when I will run that, again you will see this you know uh, view is different in the BMI and class 2. You will see the property. You can go here and you will see the property and type of this table is view. This is not a regular table, as I said. And again, you do any kind of procedure you need. For example, here I'm doing um, calculations of the mean, and whenever any update will happen in the original data set, for example here, so that update will automatically come to the view. You don't need to really run the view program again. So that is so there are few things you have to remember, that if you want to update your data, that is original table, which is class here, and using the view, you cannot do that. So in data step view, you cannot update the data that you referenced. So initially this view is generated from this table, and if you want to update this one again with using this view, you cannot do that. So if you run this one, you will see that it will show some error here. You cannot open this one. So that is one thing, and you can use them as a source of another data step. So for example, if you wanted to create another table, for example BMI2, you can do that here by but you cannot reference the same table. You cannot update that. So that things you have to remember that. And data step views do not have update capability. That is, they cannot directly change the data that they access. PROC SQL view update the data that they reference. So this is the main difference. So if you are using PROC SQL, you can basically update this one, which you cannot do in the data step um, procedure using the this data step view. So this is the main difference between the PROC SQL view and the data step view. So another point you have to remember, that you can basically combine data from different file formats. So for example, here you have a class data set, which is a table, regular table, but you have a class 2, which is a view. So when you run this program, another table will be generated here as class 4. So that will be a regular table, actually not the view. So you can do that, and also the use of this basically data view or PROC SQL view, it will reduce your storage space. That is one of the benefit of using that. So for example, here I'm generating time table, regular table here using the this PROC SQL procedure, and here I'm creating a view, and the name of that view is time table 2. So when you will run this two program, one regular table will be generated and another will be a view basically. So this one is a regular table. You will go to the property, you will see the row information here is like this much, and when you go to this property here, you will see this information is here. Also, this one is the regular table. When you go to this one, the another one I'm talking about, this one, yeah. So here you will see that no row information is here. And when you have a very big data set, you will see the real difference. For example, this is a program to look the size of that table. So if I'm using this one, and trying to figure it out what is the size of different tables, so you will see that the difference of their size. So you can see the time table, this one is this much bytes, but you will see this is almost 0. So you can reduce the space when you will use the data step view. And if you wanted to know about the program that you are using, you have to use this program, data step describe. So when you will run this program, what it does, it will write the information of the program in your logbook. This question is also regularly asked in SAS certification exam. I will show you so I covered this topic because when I was preparing for the SAS certification exam, I found there are multiple questions related to the SAS view or PROC SQL view, and that's the reason actually I am covering this topic. So for example, if you will see these questions, the following SAS program is submitted. For example, data and view is information is here, and describe and run. So which will be the correct answer? So the correct answer uh, is the program retrieve the SAS source code and creates the view and place it in the SAS log. I also showed this in my programming, and this is what I did, that when you will create a view here and you will run this describe program here, what it does, it will retrieve the program in the log. So the correct answer is the program retrieve the SAS source code that creates the view and place it in the SAS log. So this is one of the very general questions asked in the exam. Another question that is very common is about that which statements correctly describe the SAS inline view. So the correct answer is a SAS inline view is a temporary table and exists only during the SQL procedure query execution. So this is not a permanent table. So this is a temporary tables that you can reference and you can work and you can run different procedure using that view. So this question is also very common when you will use SAS inline view. And another questions that I also did mistakes when I was practicing my questions. So this question is, the question will ask you to provide the segment of missing code. So what will be the missing code here? Insert code here. So the correct answer is that you have to write view is equal to the name of your view table basically. So I did mistake here, so but I don't want you to do the same mistake. And this is the again same question here, like when you will run this describe informations using this data view, so it will basically retrieve the code in your log. So that you have to remember, it's very common. Another very common question is about the advantage of the SAS data step view. So the most advantage is that it always access the most current data, as I said, and I showed you that you really don't need to update the view data step program. When you are using any procedure, it will retrieve the original data and access the most current data. So that is one of the biggest advantage of using SAS data step view. And this is the another questions that I did mistake. Which one of the following should be avoided when creating and using the SQL procedure view? So the correct answer is referencing a view multiple times in the same program. So these are few questions that usually asked, in SAS Advanced Certification exam, and I hope you like this topic, uh, you know, and thank you very much for watching.